Welcome to Even Field, the sports podcast that puts women first. I'm Eileen.
And I'm Josie. And actually, Eileen has some gigantic news, but we're not going to talk about that yet. We're going to make you wait because Nebraska women's basketball had a absolutely huge win last night.
90 points.
Yeah, 90 to 57 against number 25 Illinois.
Wow.
And Illinois has had like a hell of a season. They have 20 wins right now.
Right. So
big win.
Very necessary for them right now, too.
Oh, super necessary. Huskers outscored the Illini in every single quarter, which is fantastic. Josh Shelley was on fire offensively. 26 points, led all scorers, 6 3-pointers.
6 3-pointers, wow.
And perfect from the free throw line. And Isabel Bourne, also great, fantastic night. Had double-double, 16 points, which is actually exactly how many points the Illinois top scorer got. And then 13 rebounds, 11 of them on defense. So great night. All 5 starters were in double digits for points. Yeah, it was
wow.
It was a pretty dominant performance all around.
And if they can have all their starters keep scoring in double digits, that would be amazing.
That would be really great, especially with the Big Ten tournament coming up. But yeah, Illinois just couldn't find any answers for the Husker defense. They also were down 2 players, which obviously plays a role, but like that was
full quarters.
Full 4 quarters. That's really hard to say. Oh my goodness. But yeah, no, just really excellent game. Like rebound wise, they decimated them. It was 44-24. In the paint, again, 46-18 points. Massive game.
That's so exciting.
Massive win. Definitely the momentum they need right now since they are still on the bubble, like taking on Northwestern next for senior night. Northwestern, bottom of the Big Ten. They should beat them. It'd be disastrous, honestly, if they didn't, because they are on the bubble.
Right.
But one team that's not on the bubble is Creighton.
Creighton, wow. They are doing amazing. They had a dominant game against Marquette yesterday. Not 90 points, but again, they are being very consistent, playing very consistent basketball right now.
At the best time to be doing so.
Yes, the last several weeks, they've been so consistent. The Jays won 55-44 over Marquette. In the first half of the game, it was actually pretty even. Creighton was playing great, but also Marquette was playing pretty well. And at the half, Creighton only led 26-25. But then in the third quarter, the Jays came alive. They won a 9-0 run. Rachel Saunders had herself a game on both offensive and defensive ends. She's always scrambling for those loose balls. I love to watch her play. She is amazing. The announcer actually said, "Rachel's everywhere," which was accurate. The Jays outscored Marquette 18-5 in the third quarter. So they had a dominant third quarter, and that really created a wide gap in the score. In the fourth quarter, Marquette tried one last push. They closed the gap a little bit, but it really wasn't enough. In the fourth quarter, the Jays got really important offensive rebounds to control the time. They kept possession of the ball. You know, Marquette needed that time, obviously.
And they didn't give it to them.
Yeah, but Jays did not give it to them. They got multiple offensive rebounds. And in the second half, too, the Jays got a bunch of great steals where they just stole the ball and just did a layup down the court by themselves. It was great. It was great to see. Love to see it.
Not if you're a Marquette fan.
Not if you're a Marquette fan, but you know.
But on this podcast, only Nebraska and state teams matter.
Right. And Molly Mogensen had herself a night with 12 points. She's been kind of quiet on the scoring this year, but she had a great game. She scored 2 3-pointers. 12 points, really amazing. And then Morgan Molly led with 15 points. So the Jays are on fire.
And at the perfect time. Because, they're pretty much already in the tournament. We
hope.
Well, I'm trying to think about, they have Butler next. Butler is, in the not the bottom team in the Big East, but they're down there. If they lost horribly to Butler, lost horribly in their first game in the Big East tournament, maybe they wouldn't make it, but like I still could see them potentially coming in as a lower seed even if that happened. Like,
right. No, the way they're playing right now in the last several weeks too, they've been on the upswing and they've been really consistent the last several weeks. So I'm pretty confident in Creighton.
Yeah, I am counting on a tournament run for them. Maybe again to the Elite Eight.
Knock on wood.
Knock on wood. I'm not going to say that they are going to, but that sure would be great if they did. On a completely different sport, softball is happening.
Yes, Josie's all up on the softball news.
Oh, yeah. That's me. Nebraska was at Clearwater Invitational. We talked about it last time, I believe. Like,
yes.
Super
tough opponents.
Super tough opponents, just prestigious tournament, invitational. I don't know what you want to call it. But, so they went 1-4 there. They took on 4 of the top 10 teams, and the other team was receiving votes, which was Texas A&M. That is the team they beat. That was a close game, but taking on strong opponents right away. They're 5-5 right now for the season. I mean, they look pretty good. Maybe not top 10 good, obviously, but
it's early.
It's early. I think they could take on lower top 25 teams and probably pull out wins. And I think like they're doing really well. Got a little bit of stuff to figure out. Creighton has not a lot of stuff to figure out, but like they need to figure out the end.
The end of the game.
The end of the game. Last 2 losses. They lost in the final inning, which just is painful.
Very painful.
But
Probably the worst.
Yeah, but they have a new coach. They have stuff to figure out. They have time. Is the other thing. Like,
again, it's early.
Yeah, they're only 3-6. I mean, they have 3 wins on the board. They're good. But Omaha softball, my goodness, like what a stunner!
If only you guys could see Josie's hand motions.
I know.
Now.
I talk with my hands. It's a problem. But I mean, they took on number 9 Texas twice, and granted, they lost. But that first game was 6-7. Like they were in that game.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah. The second one they weren't in it. It was 1-9. It was not a great game. But I was honestly shocked by the level of play of Sydney Newsmer. I really hope I'm pronouncing that wrong, or correctly, not wrong. I hope I'm not pronouncing it wrong. I'm really sorry if I'm not. I can't pronounce anything. But yeah, just she is good. And everyone always talks about Cameron Meyer, and Cameron Meyer is good. But this girl also high level talent.
Out,
yeah, look out. She's from Elkhorn, so you probably already know her name. But yeah, like that's what's going on with softball. And I'm really impressed with where Omaha's at right now.
Yeah, it'll be exciting to see kind of as the season goes on.
Yeah, crazy. But you have some news.
So yes, I have some news, even field listeners. So it's bittersweet. I have gotten a full-time staff photographer job at the Chicago Tribune. So unfortunately, I will be leaving Omaha World-Herald and this podcast, sadly. But I'm hoping Josie will allow me to come back to do a little guest spot.
If I can figure out a way to make it happen, it will happen.
Well, Josie hopes that UNO will have a women's hockey team.
There are no rumblings of it happening. It's just a dream of mine. And if it happens, because it's a dream, I'm going to drag Eileen on this podcast one way or another.
Hooray. But before we close out, I just wanted to talk about some of my favorite sports memories that I've had covering women's sports here in Omaha. So one of my favorite things that I've done, it was actually really exciting. It was the first time I ever flew on a plane for work, so that was very cool. I got to cover the NCAA Final Four in volleyball in Columbus. And Nebraska obviously made it to the final. They played Wisconsin. That was super exciting.
That was super high-level volleyball.
Oh, my gosh. The best volleyball I've ever seen. And I definitely learned very well how to photograph volleyball that week. But it was very, oh, my gosh. It was so exciting. And it was great to cover those girls and that team. And
you saw yourself on ESPN too, didn't you?
Yes. So my parents were, of course, watching me on ESPN, and they recorded the game. So then later I watched myself on ESPN. I was like, oh, there I am. there I am. So that was pretty fun. Another really fun moment for me was when I photographed Nebraska women's basketball defeating Michigan in January of 2022. It was a really big game, and I think that was kind of before everyone knew kind of like the capabilities like that year. I think they kind of surprised everyone, and that was such an exciting win. It was very close, and they pulled it out, and I just remember the photo I got. They're all just like with their hands up running towards each other. So that was really exciting. And then even just these last couple weeks covering the Grand Island girls wrestling program. I'm really glad I got to do that to close out my time here, because that was really cool to see these girls get this opportunity. It's in the second year that they are official, for state wrestling. So I got to cover them practicing, and then I got to cover these same girls at state this past weekend. So really glad I got to close out on such a cool sport and a cool program there with Grand Island. So those are some of my favorite sports memories that I've covered.
Yeah. So she'll be heading to Chicago next week, and she'll get to watch her beloved Red Stars.
Yes. Oh, I'm so excited to watch the Chicago Red Stars live. Yay. And the Chicago Sky.
That too. Obviously, we are going to miss Eileen, like, a lot. Like, all of us here are so sad she's leaving, but so proud of her, because that's, like, her dream job. So, congratulations, Eileen.
Thank you. I'm excited to be headed home, but I will definitely miss Omaha. And this podcast, of course, was one of the coolest things I've gotten to do here. So I'm really glad Josie invited me on.
Dragged.
Invited. But it's been great covering women's and girls sports in the Omaha area. I think it's so important, and I'm really glad you guys are listening, because it's really important to support women in sports.
Yeah. So we are going to have someone fill in for Eileen, probably starting next week. We'll leave that to let them introduce themselves then. But for now, thank you for listening to the Even Field podcast. If you found us on omaha.com, you can find us wherever podcasts are available. So for the final time with Eileen, I'm Josie.
I'm Eileen, signing off.
Thank you.